the antlion that is the larva of a lacewing fly.
Hi. I filmed this interview with Robert Hoare, I want to say 2017, 2016. He gave me a quick guide to identifying different native species based on their wing venation under the classification made by George Gibbs back in the 80s, and father and son team Brian and Hamish Patrick, so Patrick and Patrick. Their work has contested that there are over 20, so splitting the known 4 species into further subspecies. Lyceana is a complex of small, little, around 3 centimeter copper butterflies, some of which are endemic here to Aotearoa, New Zealand, and the majority of which are halo-arctic, so they occur across continents in the northern hemisphere. And yeah, it was really cool to see Lyceana when I visited Mount Etna with my friend Laura over in Sicily last year. That was definitely a highlight. On my previous European trip, I also went out to Oxford and saw the Jones Iconies, which is a hand-painted manuscript of 7 volumes of paintings of butterflies. Within it is the iconotype for Lycaena celestius, which is the common New Zealand copper butterfly, so Pipi Parariki. That was very thrilling for me. It's just what I'm into. I like volcanoes and butterflies. As a natural history illustrator, I have a particular desire to document and record the diversity of species so that other people can learn to appreciate them. Try to make extra effort to include the key characteristics of the species that I'm representing. With Lepidoptera, so with butterflies and moths, I'm also interested in communicating their ecological relationships. So what are their host plants? What are their food plants? And the host plants are important because that's what any conservation action will be based upon, to preserve or help a species. There are actually over 2,000 species of Lepidoptera, native and endemic here, and very little is known about which caterpillar needs which plant. And that was revealed to me in talking to Robert. And yeah, to be fair, like I remember when I first started looking at the native butterflies and moths, like all I wanted to do was make a poster with all of the native butterflies. It became apparent that that wasn't going to be as straightforward as I had hoped it would be. Even looking at the specimens in entomology at the Auckland Museum, I remember John really pointing it out to me, like the variety between visually, like looking at, for example, like all of the boulder copper specimens, and some of them look so different. Like you can see in this clip, like this one looks like it's almost black, the one that I saw in Tomariro. So yeah, interesting if you're a nerd like me, and even if you are just a regular nerd and want to know what butterflies are here. Hopefully this is somewhat helpful.
26th of May. Let's see if I can get some celestius. Go back to George Gibbs's book and we'll go up the Patrick classification on the right here. So what George Gibbs called celestius is the one with the 2 black lines along each vein, which I shall just demonstrate like that. What Brian Patrick calls that is Edna. Now, what George Gibbs called Robert, which is the one with the single line along each vein, Brian Patrick calls celestius, and I think that's right based on that old painting.
When a new species is described, A specimen collected is used for taxonomic classification. This specimen becomes permanently associated with the scientific name. This is known as the type specimen. When the type specimen is lost, it may be replaced with an illustration. In the case of Lepidoptera, butterflies and moths, when the type specimen is replaced with an illustration, it's known as an iconotype. The type specimen for Lycaena celestius was lost supposedly by the British Museum, but the iconotype exists in a hand-painted manuscript called the Jones Icones, held in Oxford.
The glade copper, which is Faradayii, is still Faradayii. Now the one little complication here is that Brian and Hamish Patrick recognise two species within this group, and they say that the North Island one is Celestius and the South Island one is Rabraha.
In the instance of Edna, what would be the common name?
So this is, yes, that's a good question. So this is I'll put the English name here, so that's the common copper. This is now coastal copper because it tends to be on the coast, or you could say Rabraha's copper, and this is the glade copper. And then the fourth is the boulder copper, which is the purple one, which is quite different, and that's the same. But again, the Patrick split it into several species, so all of these potentially have at least subspecies hidden within them.
Years after this conversation with Robert, I made an appointment to go and visit the Jones Icones with the lead librarian of the Ashmolean Museum. I have a little video about that coming out soon.